Hello agents, and welcome back to another Division build video. Today we're going to go over this LMG build that I've got here. It's pretty good, it's lots of fun. It certainly makes a difference not just main handing the M1A all the time, which most builds do right now. It does revolve around 4-piece true Patriot like a lot of other builds as well, but with an offensive twist, but still maintaining that survivability that a lot of the builds do require so that you don't get one shot in the DZ. First of all, we're going to look at the specialization, and you will definitely need firewall for this. You'll have to excuse this character, it's not fully spec'd out. I am running multiple characters right now, but it's got spec'd out in the stats that matter. So what we need right here, so 30% health on kill, pretty nice, it's a nice advantage. But what you're really looking for is this one here. Your armor kit recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. This is extremely tanky. So the minute you take a dot of damage, dive behind cover, pop an armor kit, and you've got a whole 10 seconds where you are recovering a lot of health and a lot of armor. So PvP fights don't usually last that long. Unless you come up against somebody else with this build, within 10 seconds, most of your PvP encounters are going to be over. So very important that you spec into this. Obviously spec into LMG damage as well. And, you know, the pulse resistance. Just, you know, obviously, you know, if you can get this maxed out, great. But pulse resistance, LMG damage, and this one up here. These are the ones that you definitely need to have for this build to work. Obviously, as a side note, if you spec into your secondary gun type, that's going to give you some extra damage as well. But I don't actually use that secondary gun type at any point. It would be very rare that I would use it. I've got an M1A in here just because they are so good. Grenade type, this is totally up to you. The cluster grenade seems to confuse people a lot, so I'm sticking with that. Pestilence is required for this, guys. It's got so much damage. I've been pretty lucky to get an almost max roll one. I'm sure plenty of you will have max roll ones from the exotic caches. It hits like a truck. We've got a big mag in it. 15% LMG damage on mine. 11% out of 12 for damage to targets out of cover. And then 6% damage to armor. This is again though the talent that makes it. So the Plague of the Outcasts. Hits apply a debuff dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds, and it can stack up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with the debuff, all stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. So 25 meters is a really big range, and if you're going up against a team, guys, all of a sudden you're going to start just seeing people die. Really good. Definitely the weapon of choice if you don't want to use an M1A in the DZ. So I'm going to go to my chest piece because this links in with firewall that we've just been talking about. So I've gone with an offensive body piece. If you feel like you are dying a lot and it's not suiting your playstyle, by all means go with like a healer guard or an R&K and roll a blue stat onto them. But you need to have the efficient. The talent definitely needs to be efficient. Using an armor kit has 50% chance not to consume the armor kit, which is great, but the specialization armor kit bonuses are increased by 100%. So that's buffing the specialization buff that we talked about before. So if we go back into here, we're just going to go back and have a look. It's buffing this by 100%. Which makes it insane. If something hits you, you get your life back instantly. It is absolutely crazy. So that's the first part of this build and how we're going to survive against a team of other PvPers. There's a whole another section to it, but I'll quickly just run through these two. My damage pieces are going to be this chest piece, where I've got almost God roll across the board. I've got 10% headshot damage because it's Providence, nearly 14.7% weapon damage, some crit damage and some headshot damage, and then I've got crit chance in the mod. You could roll this to whatever you wanted, guys. I've gone with an offensive piece. If you wanted to go with a healer guard for extra armor, but just make sure you roll on efficient as the talent. Gloves, I've gone with LMG damage gloves with the Petrov named contractors gloves. They're just too good to not use when you need to do some kind of damage to people. The 11% damage to armor, the 15% weapon damage, and then I put in 5.6% crit chance on these ones. Really, really good. So they're my damage pieces. I didn't want to go all offensive like most of the builds. I wanted to try and just kind of be just a little bit step ahead with damage so that I've got some good output. Then we're going to run 4-piece True Patriot. So 2 pieces gives me 30% ammo capacity, which is great in an LMG. Then 3 pieces is going to give me 30% magazine size, which is great. We know that 4 pieces gives me red, white and blue. And if you weren't sure about this, so red amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. White, shooting the enemy repairs you and your allies' armor by 5% every second, adding to our survivability. And then blue decreases the enemy's damage dealt by 8%, again adding to our survivability. Full flag, enemies that die under the effect of all 3 debuffs create a 5-meter explosion dealing damage equal to their total health and armor. Explosion damage reduced on named enemy deaths. This isn't that good, to be honest, guys. Every now and again I find that it does hit them when people are trying to pick up the teammates and things like that. But yeah, not the best. So this is what you want to concentrate on. So this mask, I've actually got a better one on one of my other characters I need to transfer over. But you want core attribute armor as big as possible. And then the other thing that you're looking for in attribute is armor regeneration. So this stacks insane with everything else that we're doing to give ourselves armor back. So armor regeneration as much as you can. If you can do incoming repairs as well, bonus. But if not, don't worry about it, and I'll explain why I've got incoming repairs there as well. But armor regeneration is where you want that to be. So on the holster, you're going to see I've got armor, and again armor regeneration. On the knee pads, I've got armor and armor regeneration, absolutely perfect for this. And then on the backpack, you can see I've got armor regeneration and incoming repairs. But we have a talent with this one as well, because it being a backpack. Increases red, white and blue debuff strength from, for the red goes from 8 to 12, the white goes from 5 to 8, and the blue goes from 8 to 12. So significant buffs across the board. So really, really good, guys. A lot of survivability and a lot of damage. You're going to see in the clips that are coming up at the end. At one point, I achieved getting a manhunt. It's just absolutely crazy. It's just so much fun. And if you've got that med pack going, which is what's going to be your aim, take a little bit of damage, pop the med pack, and then just deal as much damage as you can. Rush people, make them panic. And you will do really well with this build. Even someone firing an M1A at you, when that med pack's procced for that amount of time that's healing you, it's going to be very, very rare that they're going to be able to put you down. On top of that, I use the fixer drone to give myself some extra health and armor at the same time. And then obviously the incoming repairs that we've rolled everywhere is going to be adding to that at the same time. So really, really, really nice. And then for the other skill that I'm using the Stinger Hive. You'll see in a clip at the end, right? I'm not spec'd into any damage for the Stinger Hive whatsoever. There's a guy at the checkpoint. I drop the hive. I go outside of the checkpoint and I enable rogue, and the hive starts at him, and it almost kills him. Like, this is insane. Like, I've not spec'd into any damage with it at all, and yet it puts bleed on them, and the damage output from it in PvP is insane, considering I am not spec'd into it. So this just adds to it as well. Use this where you can. Drop it near you, so if people are rushing you, they get hit with it and they start to panic and they start to go a little bit crazy as well. So really, really, really good. Definitely worth doing. So I'm going to flip this over to PvP stats so that you can see my actual damage. So my damage on the Pestilence is 81k. But the PvP damage is 39k. We've got a very small 21% crit chance with 57% crit damage, but it's not about that. Headshot damage is pretty good actually, it's 95%, but we've got some damage to armor at 17%. We've got some reload time and reload speed bonuses as well. Let's flip down to what actually matters. Also, if you wanted to see this as well, I've got 40% light machine gun damage there as well. Talents that we've already gone over, but our defense, we have got 19k armor regeneration with 1.3 million armor, and that's our max health. And incoming repairs is at 37.4%. So yeah, really good, guys. Definitely a lot of fun. You'll see from the clips, I ran around the DZ for way longer than I actually needed to when I was recording clips for this, and it was just so much fun coming up against all the different types of people that are running all the different types of builds. It felt great not to just be in there with an M1A. There was one guy I ran into a bunch of times. He was running a pure M1A damage build that people would use for PvE. And even against him, it was a lot of fun. Because once I got the jump on him, he would never survive because he was, he was literally a glass cannon. But he could put some damage on me and make me worry a little bit as well. So it was definitely good fun coming up against all the other kind of builds. And to be honest, let's face it, the DZ needs some fun right now because it's definitely not that great considering. So check it out, guys. Let me know what you think. If you built a version of this that's a little bit different, I'm definitely interested. Post in the comments down below. Let me know what you built. Let me know what you think of it, guys. If you've had a go at it, let me know what results you've come up with. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Hit that subscribe button for more Division content. I will throw out builds and any other news I possibly can as quick as possible, guys. So definitely do consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to come and say hello, you can see me streaming almost every day over on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. We're usually doing raid help over there, but we do help with anything we possibly can to do with the Division. Hit the Discord down below if you want to come to our community. There's over 1,000 people in our community right now, and it's growing day by day. So do come and say hi over there as well. Enjoy the clips at the end, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Safe area detected. Helo is headed back. Rogue protocol initiated. Low, almost within range. Vital signs critical. Rogue hive detected. Contaminated gear detected.
Helo at the extraction zone.
Helo is on site.
Extraction begun.
Nearby agent has gone rogue. Rogue seeker mine detected. Extraction hijack. Now detecting. Rogue protocol. Rogue striker drone detected. DZ drone claimed by agent. Contaminated gear detected. Rogue hive detected. Zone drop. Helo is headed back.
Jetzt komme ich auch.
einen Schuss und ich bin tot. Ja, das war einer von unseren. Ja, ich würde sagen, wir gehen jetzt einmal raus wieder aus der Dark Zone, oder?
Rogue blinder firefly detected. Rogue hive detected. Manhunt initiated. Rogue hive detected. Initiating rogue protocol. Rogue striker drone detected. Now detecting contaminated gear. Extraction helo. Almost within range. Rogue hive detected. Contaminated gear detected.
Cover our site.
Vehicles on site. Helo is headed back. Now detecting contaminated gear. Initiating rogue protocol. Rogue defender drone detected. Rogue assault turret detected.
Okay, brother.
Engaging landmark. Now detecting contaminated gear.